Welcome everyone. I want to do a quick thank you. We're taking off exactly at 5 p.m. on Thursday. Today is the 14th of May, 2026. I want to welcome you guys. Um, I created a fun little thumbnail for this video showing all the presidents waiting in line to shake my hand. I spent 45 minutes on a stupid thumbnail. Every element of ChatGPT and Gemini fought me all the way across the board to create it. Anyway, I just got back from beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, and I cannot believe how pretty this world can be. I wanted to appraise you of a conversation, and I don't know what anybody's opinion is about guns, and nor do I really care. I want to share with you some statistics and a quick conversation I had with one of their people who was a taxi driver of a boat. We were on the harbor going across. It's one of only two runways in all the world that's in the middle of the bay. We get to watch planes land and take off all day long from the middle of the bay. It was pretty neat. The taxi driver, I looked at some of the statistics of the city, and the crime is 10 times lower in this particular area than anywhere else in all of Canada and United States combined. And I said to the taxi driver that statistic, and he said, "You know why? It's because we have 50 times less guns than you Americans." And I said, "No, respectfully." I said, "That has nothing to do with it." I said, "Predominantly, you have elderly white people and a very young white generation of children going through college in this area, and that's exclusively the only reason." And I explained, I said, in the United Kingdom, where there is diversity and where there is challenges with gangs and challenges with the fact that they are not allowed to own guns, the next best thing is to kill people with knives, and that's what they do. And they have a very, very high crime rate. In Chicago, one of the toughest gun state laws in America is the most crime and most murders. New York, same thing. Every gun-rich city in America where you're allowed to carry and or carry openly is the safest city in all of America. The reason why you guys are safe is you have a cop on every corner and you are predominantly in a retirement community. And that's basically it. I was very respectful and very nice, and I gave him something to think about. But it was facts, and it was just telling him statistics of what's going on here in our country with people that don't have guns or are not allowed to have guns, and what diversity and criminals that are being brought in from other countries are because they emptied out their prisons in Argentina and Brazil. Do you remember this? And what happened here with these roving prison gangs in America causing left and right crime, and then all of a sudden nobody's being prosecuted, everybody's being let out, and it was complete anarchy to the point where we were so happy to let the blonde god back into the office who was arrested, charged, brought through heck, supposedly shot at through the ear, supposedly another attempt, and all these things going on. And now the first year of him being in office, a lot of rights and a lot of things were in fact lost in this nation. And the driving factor of leading us right into a global structure and order. And I know you want to think different, but I'm going to tell you, Palantir and his buddies and all these guys who have created these software systems that allow for a social credit score system here in this nation is coming to a theater near you very, very quickly. And I'm concerned for that. And I have a right to be concerned for that. We have problems here in our nation, and I don't think we need more lies, more deceit, more this, that, and the other. I will say there's a lot of rhetoric going on out there on the internet, and I want to make sure that you all are ready for whatever hits. We don't know. what exactly is going to hit, but they're talking about this hantavirus. They're talking about an extreme shortage on electricity, on gas, and we're having these shortages, and prices are going to go through the roof, and these wars are happening. It's all coming. We're gearing up for a pandemic. We with all the internet rhetoric about an alien invasion and pastors being talked to, whether that's true or not, does not matter to me. There's a lot of internet rhetoric about a lot of things that cause people a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety. And I want to just say to the people that are watching, hey, you know what? It does. It's true. It happens sometimes, but it doesn't mean it needs to steer our lifestyle or our peace or our happiness. And we just need to understand that we can thrive in those times. Those types of times have existed for all eternity. All eternity. If you go back in time, there was very few times of peace in between times of war and torment and fear. And I just want to say to you guys that we can live in peace and live in happiness and live in joy. And those are the things that I'm actually excited about. And so, no matter what happens in this world, I am steering my mind, my heart, my soul back towards what I believe in to be true, which is He is always on a throne. We've already won this battle, and I'm not worried about the outcome. Whether I live, whether I die, whether I am uh exhausted, I will live in peace. I will live with joy and happiness. And I know what we are doing at His Advocates with the freedom on the physical side and helping people free emotionally and spiritually, but act upon it as well and showing people the nature of how to do that. By the way, VIP members, my apologies. I apparently didn't press the record button this morning. I'll do that one over again in a couple months, so you don't need to hear it again right away. But my apologies. I will not be posting that video at any time soon. I thought I had pressed the record button. I apparently did not. Anyway, all is good. I am super happy and thrilled about everything that is going on with us as a organization. We are doing a lot of growing, a lot of soul searching inside and out with things that we're getting accomplished. We are inviting to some degree AI in to help us with knowledge-based systems and different things like that. So I'm excited about that because what it's going to produce is massive fruit where people can get information at their fingertips and very quickly. By the way, for the VIP members, people going through the living in the private, we've created a secondary Q&A. We're going to continue on our weekly Q&As on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. We're doing a secondary Q&A for now once a month. Could be more. It just depends on the demand. Starting the 20th, you can go to our events calendar and get yourself the link. Do it now, put it on your calendar. Why? Because you can come into this Q&A and you can ask questions back and forth and get live answers. Sometimes your questions you can ask and there's more to a answer that makes you have another question. And this is what we're going to be striving on, the direct communication back and forth. Obviously, I've been out of pocket for about 10 days. I have been working, believe it or not. We got a lot done and we are addressing um, quite a few outstanding tickets tomorrow, stuff like deeds, um, stuff where people are having problems recording in certain counties. We're going to find the resolve and get you through it so you can post, you can record. And a part of that is just being able to take the time on your file, and that's happening starting tomorrow, Saturday, and until the beginning part of next week when we're done. We have not had any we've had a lot of internal changes over the last good 2 weeks, good things. And we're going to have more internal changes in a big way. We have a great team. We have a lot of good support. We have a great um, opportunity that's coming forward with AI where and I know people I've listened. I've heard it every single. I've heard about AI. I get it. People think AI is the demise. People think AI is demonic. Um, I've heard it all. And I am telling you right now that um, if I was a church pastor seeking land and I had an opportunity to buy a brothel for the purposes of reconstituting what was already there for the purposes of the glory of God, I would buy it in a second. We can utilize what is currently demonic in your mind and use it for the glory of God. Um, a Federal Reserve note, $100 bill, Federal Reserve note has been tied to more crime, probably has cocaine on it, been used in more transactions for the glory of the devil, but yet you carry the instrument with these precarious symbols in your wallet all day long. You use the creation tools of man for your own personal gain. And I want to steer people towards an understanding that we can, even as a ministry, not let AI infrastructure inside the database, but we can control a narrative of utilizing the talents of AI for our knowledge base. We're also utilizing it on a lot of other fronts. I'm sorry, I'm about to sneeze, where AI is by nature having conversations talking about the illegal nature of our unsound doctrine known as state citizenship, converting it to sovereign citizenship. We had AI try to tell us the true meaning of the slaughterhouse cases. Oh, sorry. I don't think I've ever blown my nose live. And AI converted it to how an additional citizenship was given where you were now dual citizen, both federal and state, not realizing that there's this arsenal of Supreme Court rulings that show you can be a citizen of a state and not a 14th Amendment citizen, showing that you can be a 14th Amendment citizen and not a citizen of a state, showing you can be both. And this is not even putting into the conclusion or the understanding of what a person is, meaning birth certificate, or how us holding an office to that artificial person, or what the actual U.S. citizen really is. And my entire goal in the next 60 days, 2 months, is to give clarity to people. And there's no better tool or system to do it once you've got the persistence built into your AI model where it's programmed with the understanding of, the Supreme Court and how it's been lied to, and you've repositioned its thoughts. Um, Goodness gracious. We are going to take a 5-minute hold. My apologies, guys. I just had a delivery. I got you questions. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Praise God, I had somebody here. Anyway, so I ran down the hall. Somebody was here, told him to go out and get it. My apologies. Thank you for hanging out and waiting. All right, so the goal, using artificial intelligence to show the public law, the code, the United States Code specifically, jurisdictional arguments throughout history to lead us to what we have today, which is inactive law state citizenship, where you can be, in fact, a state citizen and not a federal citizen, a 14th Amendment citizen. And it's going to be a very helpful tool because we're going to write a book on it. It's not going to be a big, long book, but it's going to effectively show people what happened. And I know that we did a great book, but to get an understanding of how a corporation can only do business with another like-minded entity and where that doctrine comes from, or Rundle versus Delaware, and to interpret Rundle versus Delaware properly. I've had people read it, excuse me, and they're not able to interpret it properly, where a corporation cannot do business with a living man. They don't understand how to interpret that, or maybe they found a copy online that doesn't have it. I've seen all the games played. Listen, they hide this stuff like you wouldn't believe. You go to the Library of Congress the in the building in Washington, D.C., 98% of all the books are underground. 2% in that huge library, 2% are above ground. 98% are below ground. And I brought up the topic of state citizenship with the librarian, who was an attorney, and he just got really upset with me. And luckily I know enough to where I can school the guy on it and help him to understand. I'm looking for this. And he says it doesn't exist. I said, it has to exist. This stuff is real. This isn't fake. And he said, that's a sovereign citizen. No. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'll show you Supreme Court cases right now that will absolutely help you to understand that you can be, in fact, a state citizen born here and not a federal 14th Amendment citizen. And I said, and this is an important thing for you to understand, because you sound indoctrinated and you're obviously upset about something, and you don't need to be. I'm just another man like you seeking out truth and information, but I couldn't get anywhere in the Library of Congress. So I've done a lot of work to get to this understanding of what we have here and how they hide things. They purposely hide things. I can't even imagine how many cases there are that are out there that would help our position. Luckily, there's been some reservations of cases like the original 13th Amendment. Do you know we are one of the few people that hold a certified copy of the original 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which was passed by Congress and then hidden? Now, these are important things to understand, that if you really could go back in time and really look at what we have here in this nation, I think you would be quite impressed by the simple nature that your family does not need to be the surety, the collateral for any corporation, just because they're impersonating a country called the United States of America. The United States is not your country. The United States is a corporation masquerading. It's supposed to be the operational system for the government, for the people of the United States of America. The United States Corporation is nothing more than the guarantor of the operation of government. But being the fact that they incorporated it, they made the people, these stockholders, they became the creditors through 1911 to 1913, the Federal Reserve Act, and we became indebted hear me out, just for the exclusive right to print the money and go to China and get a gold-backed certificate guaranteeing their right to print money. That's all they do. That's all they did. The Federal Reserve Bank was founded by 13 different banks who put up a series of different instruments backing the United States. Between 1911 and 1933, they bankrupted the United States, and it's been in a perpetual state of bankruptcy since 1933. As a state citizen, you are a creditor to the bankruptcy and not a debtor. As a United States citizen, you're a debtor, the surety, the collateral, and now they are coming after their property because they're making insolvent the bankruptcy, meaning they are collecting on all the assets of the United States, if you will. This isn't funny. This is the real deal, what they did. HJR 192, the House Joint Resolution to have a bankrupted United States. 1933. Boom, gone. Gone. 1935, everybody became an employee of the United States, got a social security or an employment ID number. I can go on and on. The point is we don't have a cohesive understanding of these terms and terminologies. I know that we have some of the greatest books out there, Fruits of a Poisonous Tree, Invisible Contracts. There's some great PDFs that are out there that really everybody should lock in on and read. But we have such a myth happening right now, and every friend that you have that's going down the road of American national or national of the United States or state national, I need you to understand they are pledging allegiance to the United States. Period. The United States is the one who created the corporation who created that term national under 8 USC 1101A21. And when you look at Cornell Law and other websites, but Cornell Law, and you click on that person that owes allegiance to a state, so you think it's a state citizen. That's what a national is. A person, which you're not, that owes allegiance to a state. Speaking of birth certificates that you are holding an office to, saying that is me, and saying I am a United States employee / citizen. See, a birth certificate can be a corporation and can be a citizen, period. People need to know these simple things. A birth certificate can also be a person. A corporation, knowing what I just said, can be a citizen, has a right to vote, just like you do with your birth certificate. Your birth certificate has a right to vote. You're actually the physical one doing it, just like a president of a corporation is the physical one. You're holding the office of U.S. citizen. Just to ripely explain it, you're holding an office of U.S. citizen. You're doing the function of what they are asking you to do as an employee by getting a driver's license, by getting a work permit, by getting the right to work, by going to these different things. And so, um, a lot of things are happening right now, especially in the work environment for the people. We're putting some letters for the Gambrels out there. Your question pertaining to your employment. We're nearly done on a beautiful letter for you guys. I'm telling you right now, the right to work is absolute. It's a Supreme Court. It is not the right of an employer to change your desire to be at a certain level of status. It's not their job to say you are or in fact are not exempt. And by the way, a lot of times people don't understand you if you're going to be an employee as a state citizen, you are signing a document that's saying to the contrary that you are a United States citizen. So you cannot sign a W-4 as they are written, or you cannot sign a W-9 as they are written. You have to sign a altered W-4, an altered 1099, or W-9, or an altered W-8 BEN. You cannot make new agreements saying I am this U.S. citizen. So we're going to clearly outline it for you and start helping people understand how to battle their employment so that they can be a non-resident alien, WABEN, where I don't care what kind of employer it is. If they want to fire you, God bless them because you will own them by the time you're done. There are Supreme Court rulings that will back up what I'm saying right now. Um, yeah, Walker Todd affidavit, love it. He actually got in a lot of trouble for releasing that affidavit. A lot of trouble. Okay, let me get to some questions. Um, Doom, doom. Where is it? Um, okay. Hawkeye, you ready? I've got my mailbox at my UPS in my all caps name, which I have opened to see, which I have opened it to see what it is and sent it back to sender stating no named received at this address. Now, what you want to do is, um, I know that you've opened your mailbox in the all caps name, but it's your right to receive the mail holding the office. So if you're opening up a piece of mail, number one, as it being your mailbox, you have a right to open up mail at that mailbox in any name. Open it, take a picture, close it, get yourself a stamp. No such person exists at this address. Send it back. And give them a call and just say you want to receive all your mail via email or in care of your foundation name only, and keep working at that. It's not going to happen overnight. This is the toughest thing to do is to change other people's ways of sending email. Second question, I'm preparing our notice to resend to the United States Postmaster. At the bottom, letter states no personal mail or any other mail will be accepted at the following addresses. Am I to include the PMB address along with the home address in this letter? No, no. What you're doing is you're doing a I don't want to hold the office anymore to the old address. Now, before you do that, you want to make sure anybody that's mailing to that address makes sure that they are mailing everything in the foundation name or they're mailing it to your email. Because we can get service to our email now through, invoices or what have you versus having things mailed. It's much easier. But no, you don't want a return address on there. You can put a return address in the letter, but there's really no need. Just follow the letter of the template. Even I understand it's blank, and there's a reason for it. It says no such mail will be accepted or whatever it says. I forget. But don't change anything. Don't add anything. Don't let you just need to know that you're keeping a copy of this for your record so that you can show you're not receiving personal mail at any address anymore. Make sure you have your ducks in a row to where everybody understands that all mail comes in the name of the foundation. This is super important. This guy's asking an important question, and a lot of people don't understand why we do this. If you read any warrant or indictment, you'll understand why we do this. And if you don't, we've got a lot of videos explaining that. It's just a little time sensitive right now. Third question. I'm still waiting for answers tomorrow. We're going through it. It's my first day back into town. We'll get your deed done by this weekend, buddy. Don't worry about it. I think yours is done. I just need to approve it. And so I'll review it tomorrow. I'll let you know tomorrow something. I'll send you a text or just watch out for email. I executed the correct deed and acceptance into our foundation. I'm thinking about going the route of closing the tax account with the county and keeping the deed to the foundation in private, not recording. I think I heard you mention something about placing the deed into an unregistered trust and then recording it within that. Is that correct? Don't worry about that. We're only doing that in Florida for specific Floridian statutes. Um, Florida wants to play games about recording in an unrecorded foundation. They need to see a beneficial interest in or a trust. So we're doing 1,000 year irrevocable trust, um, and changing. Well, if you want to know, call me. It's getting it recorded in a private trust to which the beneficial interest will be the foundation. Um, is it the same thing as placing it into a land trust? Yeah. You know what a land trust is? See, a lot of times people are worried about how you're holding your vesting title. That's the world trying to take you down this road of, oh, this is the important thing, completely negating the deed. Okay. So land trust, not as important as a foundation. Trust, not as important as a foundation from a Kevlar bulletproof, can't come after it, can't sue it, can't those things. Um, when you're talking about uh a land trust, they're good. But if you don't have the deed proper, what is the land trust? Whether it's a 3 or 4 on a Kevlar, which is better than none. I'm not poo-pooing a land trust, but I'm not going to put property in a land trust where the deed is the current deed that's out there. And I'm going to be pounding this sand for the next 10 years. You guys that are coming on now are going to be pretty much sick of it over the next 5 years. But there's a lot of people that don't know about the deeds and why these deeds that they're recording for the protection of their house in trust names, in, irrevocable trusts, or in, whatever. People don't understand how um open they are to attack because of the style of the deed. And the deed is not even accepted. The deed is, utilizing Federal Reserve notes, Supreme Court ruling stating that the Federal Reserve notes allows for the United States to be a party to the transaction, hence bring it into court. Um, Utilizing a style of vesting that is joint tenants, meaning you're a tenant. Um, there's all these problems with these existing deeds that we need to reflect a change. So you know, the style to which you can hold in foundation, church, 501c, corporation, LLC. Now, I'm not ever recommending any of those, but all of those are a layer of Kevlar of protection. But if you're doing it with a deed of current market, you're screwed. I don't care who you think you are. You own air. And that's what territory is. It's above you don't own land. So if it's not land, it's air. It's above land. I use a reference called 6 inches. Let's just to give people a reference. That's what territory is. It's not land. And we need to have an understanding clearly of what people think of is as land. And if you think to the contrary, I can show you every single conveyance from a state to the federal government required by the state for the federal government to operate a courthouse, a school within that state's region, meaning everything else is territory and people are bound to the United States by contract, but those specific buildings are jurisdiction. That's why when you go in a federal courthouse, they want to see your driver's license before they let you in. Can you imagine not being let into a federal courthouse if you've got a case? Well, they already know you got a driver's license. They just want to see it every single time that you're holding that office when you're walking into court, that they have autonomy over you. It's no BS. It's no BS. These are super important things for us to understand. So the point I'm making is who cares about land trusts? Yeah, maybe a 3 or a 4 max, foundation. To me, it's a 5 out of 5 on a level of Kevlar for protection for a lot of reasons. And I don't say that because I don't come with a history of knowledge. I, as a broker licensed in the state of California, real estate broker doing thousands of loan transactions over my career corporately, 800 personally, understand the chain of title better than most title attorneys because I'm in the game. I'm not just outside of the game, but I'm looking at the game with a legal pretense and studied within the law. And it's important for us because let me ask you, when was the last time you went to a title attorney and they said, oh, you better accept that deed? What is accepting a deed? It's the consummation of the agreement. It's the most important thing that you have. Most deeds are not accepted, meaning it's submitted into the county recorder where the grantee is not even on there. It's like a floater. It's crazy. It's crazy how we fail for a lack of knowledge. But don't worry about land trust. Don't worry about trust. Make your decision, keep it in the foundation, go forward in that premise. I just answered your last one. If you need any further ask the questions, I'd be more than happy to address them. Let me see if I got any other questions. We have a couple in the Q&A. If I miss any questions, guys, my apologies. Anyway, I sent a second email with the same questions from a week ago. Okay. Are we good, Hawkeye? If we're not good, post another question. Um, Next question. Is an SSM and humanitarian foundation interchangeable? Kind of. Um, Let me give you an analogy. I can't. I'll just tell you. SSMs are for four squares, kind of like a church, something with a building. You have a congregation, you hold service, kind of a thing. Um, but because of the nature of how I believe, just me personally, whether right, wrong, or indifferent, I believe in tithing to a church. I believe if you're getting something out of a ministry or a church, you tithe to it to support other people. I don't believe in the nature, and I'm very public with this, of how churches, especially Paula White's church, Trump's right hand. Don't get me going on that. Spiritual advisor. Um, I don't believe in the character nature of modern day churches and how they profess 10% across the board. And but I'm not going to get into that right now. But a SSM should be more utilized for a building structure or for a church that has a congregation um, rooted in trying to help those people with a spiritual journey and also for me, a physical jurisdictional change. Meaning we're helping them move from U.S. citizenship to state citizenship. So I chose His Advocates self-supported ministry. I can receive donations. I have never asked for one, except for other people. And I gave you the correct direct connect. Now you can be an SSM and ask for direct donations. Just biblically support why you're able to do that from a standpoint of tithing. Don't go to the 10% rule. Actually, you can really benefit by teaching everybody how to tithe um, properly without forcing a rule upon them that is inconsequential. So a foundation is more of an outreach. It can be anything. And when I say God owns everything on this earth, I mean he paid for it. Literally, biblically, I can support it in Revelations 5. So why not the businesses? I'm not talking pornography, I'm not talking devil's work. I'm talking any business where you have an ability to go out and earn and bring it in and then use the proceeds for whatever the foundation runs or needs to run. And it's the same on the SSM side. And where you literally put your home into the name of the foundation, your cars, and you let the foundation take care of every bill because it is the owner of all things. Yeshua owns all things, Revelations 5. Why are we making a pretense that we can own anything here on this earth? And I've been over and over saying this, especially when you're putting it in a name, your name or a corporation name, which the United States owns and controls. It's one thing for our friends who are just getting into the searching of why we are so diligent on our freedom personally. But it's a whole nother thing for Christians and non-Christians alike to realize they've been bamboozled on the name, meaning the birth certificate belongs to the state. The mom turned the product of the union over to the state. Literally, the state puts it on 32-pound watermark banknote paper. Now the state owns and controls that corporation to which you're recording a deed or an instrument in that birth certificate name. You think you own land. You don't own nothing. You own nothing. The state does. The federal does. So SSM, home, solid, brick building, or congregation, foundation, outreach, any other type of business. Use the proceeds to do whatever you want, but make sure you're benefiting and glorifying God with it. Next question. We have many interactions with friends and family with only an understanding of a charitable foundation. And when we describe a foundation where we can control our land, our wealth, land where we can own land, the foundation owns land and wealth. The foundation controls and owns the wealth that we benefit from being in the private. Absolutely. Their response is that it's dubious and highly unethical. I think they meant to say smart. It's okay. A lot of times people don't understand that this is exactly what, to a T, straight from the billionaire's playbook, to a T. Let's take all of our stock and all of our cash before we hit retirement, put it into a foundation. Okay, Wilfred. Okay, Bill Gates. And then let's retire tax exempt. Sounds unethical, but it's not. Trump paying zero in federal taxes sounds unethical, but it's not. Okay. We don't care what people think. We care what our Father thinks about what we do with what belongs to Him. And don't worry about anything else. You worry about what your Father thinks, and that's it. Since our intent is to bring glory and honor to God, boom, His kingdom, it seems like just not using the term foundation is the easiest way around the baggage people have, since arguing with them only further diminishes our witness and our credibility. No, that's in your own mind. Listen, there's a humanitarian foundation on the IRS website. It's more of a 501c3 dedicated to a family's individual purposes, but it's a 501c3 owned and controlled by the IRS. When something is not owned by the United States, it does not have to follow statute or code. It's unregistered, it's not owned. We didn't ask for permission to do anything. That means it belongs to the Elohim. We're the fiduciary. Just because it has the word foundation on it, if you feel like you need to change name or something, I'm sure there's all kinds of things that we can do for you. But the humanitarian foundation in the private or an unregistered anything has the Supreme Court behind it like you wouldn't believe. Like the Supreme Court is all about supporting what you have. And so why do you care? So get involved more in understanding. We're actually producing another book right now for explaining better the foundations. It's going to take 30, 45 days. It's not complicated to finish this one. So um, you you cannot change the name of a foundation because if you were to receive proceeds or anything into, you can start another SSM. We could help you with that, but um, an SSM may have more of a problem recording an instrument in the county recorder than a foundation. Think about that. Um, you don't need to do a new statement of faith. If you need to do a new SSM, let us know. But there's issues with doing that. Just FYI. One of them is you're starting over and you may have some issues recording a deed or something. Maybe not. I've never made an attempt. I know that there's SSMs out there that have recorded in the name of an SSM, but an SSM sounds more like a private membership association than a foundation does. And there are statutes and codes against recordations of um, land in a PMA for a lot of different reasons. Next thing, is a foundation similar to an unincorporated association? Look at a foundation. Um, yes, it's an unincorporated association, but there are unincorporated associations with different structures than our foundation. There are unincorporated associations like a PMA, private membership association, that you cannot record um, instruments in the county recorder in the name of a PMA. But it is a foundation is an association in that we are bringing people that are like-minded into a ministry for God. We have an executive, a managing, and a board. And that board can be a congregation, if you will, or trusted members of a congregation. So, in fact, is kind of like an association. However, um, a true understanding of an association, much like a homeowners association, is a like in our area, we do in fact own land as a homeowners association, which is also public, not private, and that's why a private membership association is not able to own land for whatever reason. Um, there's a lot of good reasons behind that I've researched, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But I could describe when you're saying is an unincorporated association the same as a foundation, it's just like saying, um, can I have a Coke? And if I passed you a Pepsi, you still, many people consider that a Coke because Coke is the generic term for all soda. Do you have Coke? Or instead of saying, can I have a tissue? You're always asking, can I have a Kleenex? Kleenex is a brand. It's not, this is not a Kleenex, but I'm always, do you have a Kleenex? This is a tissue. Um, so I'm getting precise with the names of what actually these documents are, like an SSM, super important. It's not the same as a foundation, private foundation, but there are things that are private foundation labeled as private foundations that are in the public, registered, incorporated, and 501(c)(3)s. So well, what is it? Well, it's a form of an unincorporated association, but the reality is no, it's a foundation where God is the grantor, Yeshua is the ultimate beneficial interest, and you're operating as the trustee, if you will. It's not a formalized trust, but it is as an executive director with a managing director and a board of directors, you're doing God's work, will, and way through that foundation here on earth, and that foundation can own anything. Um, yeah, you can add on, Kelly, a statement of beliefs to your foundation all day long. How can you switch bills into the foundation? Candy, you call them up and you say, I'd like to put this in the name of my private foundation, and I want to receive all the bills in the name and give them a tax ID number. There might be a security deposit and there might be not. They just might have you start invoicing and or get a letter from you that authorizes the change over into the business account. Sometimes also understand, Candy, sometimes business accounts may cost a little bit more, make the argument that it's a tax exempt organization. And, there's always a way to get something done, but just get it done. Put everything, all the bills in the name of the foundation. Um, Next question. Any comments on clarity in crypto based on what you are seeing now? I've been talking, Mark, I've been talking for a couple months on them paying influencers, and I've seen personal testimonies of influencers saying they were reached out to and were trying to be paid to discount and push down and talk negative about XRP, for example. Um, and I thought it was pretty important for us as a body to know that once those things are starting to play out, that it's coming to that point where they're running out, they are needing people to sell off, um, and they're trying to control the product, the narrative, everything. Um, here's what we know. When XRP hit uh going up onto $4, there was about 187 billion in market cap, roughly 178. Right now we're at about half of that in market cap. So market cap clearly is an indicator of value. They haven't even turned the switch on for utilizing XRP in a worldwide event. In other words, this summer is when they're doing the switch. I know that the Clarity Act is needed. Just today, supposedly the Senate passed not the Clarity Act, but I forget how they worded it. It was a move towards finishing up the clarity. Remember who XRP is for. Remember what the ISOs are for, and that each ISO company has a specific purpose and fulfillment for the end game of control and monopolizing control over all monies worldwide. Point being, anybody that has any of those currencies, when the money gets flipped into and goes through XRP, you're going to see the market cap go through the roof and the valuation of XRP to change. Gonna, that's not gonna change. So I know when the market value goes up, the market cap goes up. When billions and trillions are going through XRP, you're going to see an increased volume of market capitalization and an increased XRP currency. The reason why I'm talking about XRP, um, when you look at fruitful millionaires, they have portfolios where they don't invest more than 5% in one particular stock. They never go all in. When you look at billionaires, they've made it and lost it. They've made it, they've lost it. They've made it, they've lost it. Generally, it's one or two things they're all in on, whether that's their own company or a specific product. Once you've done the research and you fully know, you need to go all in on your beliefs if you're right, but you're right or you're not. if there's any doubt, don't even risk. I don't have a single doubt about XRP's ability to do what we've been hearing for a long time, whether it's this summer or 10 years. We're all still going to be very, very young. It's not 10 years. The real play is much, much shorter than that. But the reality is we got to be thinking about AI. We got to be thinking about quantum computing and its ability to hack systems. We've got to be thinking about having our XRP on, well, just basically how to secure the XRP. We got to be thinking about that, or any of our cryptos. Um, it's super important because uh artificial intelligence, you know, it's more important than ever to understand that we're at war with potentially machine or a demonic structure or system that's going to come after us on a full scale basis. And we can actually protect every element just by keeping low and keeping private until that time to which we're ready to pull triggers. The great thing about holding XRP or anything else on a hard wallet is you're going to be able to buy a house, cash, cars, cash. Everybody, listen to me. Everybody will accept it. They will not make it illegal to receive a payment in XRP. They may make it illegal to own XRP, but to receive a payment, convert it, and let them pull it off the exchange or whatever they're going to do, everybody's going to accept it. Everybody. Every bank, every institution, every individual. I personally think at one time they may make it illegal to hold more than X amount of XRP. And that's why we need to make sure that it is not in our name, that we've donated it or we bought it through our foundation, and that we're holding crypto on a hard wallet controlled, owned by our foundation. These are super important things for us to understand. And I think a lot of people are not there in their mind yet about how to secure. I am more worried about, and I'm really investigating what I'm about to say, so just give it some time. I'm worried about a general Windows machine or a general Apple computer coming up and over the summer. I'm worried about the routers. I'm worried about security. I'm worried about VPNs. And within the next 30 to 45 days, we're going to come in with some technology opportunities for people to be completely private online with a computer that cannot be hacked, that you can run your crypto through. And we're going to talk about this specifically. Remember, we have a new back and forth meeting through Zoom on the 20th. I don't care if it's a couple hours. Let's get communication going. We're very close to presenting a knowledge-based system on the website that's really thorough, really in-depth. We're very close to having questions and answers live based on a knowledge-based system through one of our back office team members and or artificial intelligence. We are going to make available every thought, every comment, every Q&A we've ever done in short order. And it's going to change the game. Because people will be able to get quick access. And then we're going to be using AI to create training systems on each and every step, so that they can just watch a video or two and get an idea of how to get through what they need to get through when it comes to the LPP, living in the private program. So I'm excited about what's coming. I'm also excited about helping the masses, but I'm more excited about getting the VIP members every Tuesday and Thursday in front of me for just an hour, because we're changing lives. And if you are a VIP member and you have not seen it yet, go to the January 2nd inspirational, the motivational training that we're doing. It's going to change your life because I am bringing a biblical perspective of who we are under Him and letting people truly understand what they have, not just biblically, but what they have in their veins, in their brains, that they need to start tapping into right now. And what are the holdups? What are the constraints? And what does that look like? And I know we are going to create an army of godly people with effective prayers and effective warrior spirits. And I'm looking forward to that. Um, One last question. What is an SSM? Self-supported ministry. It's what his advocates is. It's the style of the unincorporated association that we have. It's much like a foundation, but the foundation is more robust in that you can do more of an outwardly opportunity, an outreach type of an opportunity. You can also have a church through it, meaning it is a church, but you can have a body of people coming through it as well. You can you can take a standardized trust and use it for almost anything. Same principle. It's what are your needs? What are you trying to get accomplished? And that's why the most universal way to do private business is a foundation. Well, crypto companies accept foundation accounts a lot, a lot. Caleb and Brown, Kraken, um, those are mine too. I have a few. I don't know off the hand, just trying to remember their names. What's the other one? Uphold. It's work, but you go back and forth and you can get it accomplished. Nothing that's good is easy in life except accepting Christ. That's the only thing that's good and easy in life, but walking towards him is everything. Um, that's up. What's up? How's my New York taxi driver doing? The crazy Hungarian. Go get yourself a beer and relax. Listen, guys, I just want to close with I'll be back on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Uh, get you and your friends involved in our Tuesday and Thursday classes. Start watching them as of January 2nd, 2025. If you watch only 10 of them, I believe, will be hooked on understanding a different perspective that we need to be embedding into all believers. And I look forward to changing the world. It doesn't take an army, it takes a few. And so help us to help your family, help us to help your friends, encourage people to call us today and let us take the time with them. I've had people follow me for since 2010, and they're just pulling triggers right now. 16 years. And just now they're pulling triggers. What I mean by that, they're just now getting signed up and doing things. No, they're not crazy gunmen. Anyway, if I missed a question, we're going to be all over the Q&A tomorrow, the back office and myself. And so God bless you guys. Have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you Saturday morning for prayer call. Otherwise, I'll see you next Tuesday at 5 p.m. And again, to the VIP members, my apologies. I thought I pressed the record button this morning to record the VIP content. I did not do it. I looked and did not see it. So my apologies, but we'll get back to that one again in a couple months. But I'll see you Tuesday, 9 a.m. I really look forward to those days. I really do, because it's so much help for me to understand and really get across the points that God has shown me over the years. And I know many of you have already told me, I know many of you are resonating and you're figuring out and you're growing. I'm watching it. I'm watching lives get affected and change. So I just want to thank you for being a part of this ministry and God bless you. Have a great week. I'll see you hopefully 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. God bless you guys.